Hi there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All, free educational videos channel. We are continuing with free Scratch tutorials, and in this video today we are going to explain when and how to use turn 15 degrees Scratch block, or how many degrees you want. Let's go to Scratch to see that in action. Okay, we are continuing where we left on in last video. We have a cat moving to the left and the right, and this guy here, Champ, dancing when we press the D key for him. Okay, in this video I want to show you how to use turn Scratch block. That is Scratch block of the blue color. It will be in motion group of blocks, and it will be second and third from the top, from above. And as you can see, there are two different versions of this block. We are going to see now when to use which one, but before that I will have to explain a few things as fast as possible and as short as possible. Again, I will try to explain it in more details in some of next tutorials and videos, which will be in next video. Don't look at this, what I have done now. It was by accident by clicking this button, but for now let's find some new sprite, and I will tell you right away why I picked that one. Let's see what we can use here. I think I have used star before, which is under the letter S. So let's pick S for star. Okay, here it is. Click on the star and the star character, the star image will show up. Then drag this turn 15 degrees in it, and in its code window. And before I show you what this block does, I have to explain, as I said, a few other things, and those other things are this field here, which says direction, and if you pay attention now, it says 90. I will click on it, and what I see now is some kind of circle with some kind of arrow, and if I click on that arrow, default is 90. Don't forget. I'll click on this arrow now and drag it, and you can see in your on your stage, on your screen, the star is starting to rotate. I can make it full circle rotate, or just keep on doing this like this endlessly, and on to the left, on to the right, and so on, and leave it like this. Click somewhere else to deselect it, and now it says minus 127,127. I don't want that. I want the default version. Default was 90, if you remember. So type 90 and press. But what we have shown now is that this direction field, it shows and it controls on how your character, how your sprite, how your image on the screen rotates. It defines the rotation of your character. What rotation means and how it's defined, I will explain in another video, because it is connected to mathematics. I'm not sure if all of you guys watching this are old enough to understand it. Maybe some of you are not even old enough to go to school and learn math, but I will explain it as simple as possible in some of the next videos. But for now, just remember that we can rotate anything we have on the stage, and we can rotate it by this direction field, and it will be represented in some numbers. Those numbers are called angles. But as we have seen before, when the player is playing the game, he will not see these fields here. He will not see direction, he will not see the size, he will not see the x and y coordinates, he will not see how our sprite is named. It is only for our purpose as programmers to use it and change it as programmers. But the end user, the player, he won't see it, he doesn't want to see it, he don't need it. And if he will be able to see it, he will probably crash our game and destroy it in some kind of way. So when you export your game to Scratch site, when you share it, your end user, your player, won't see these buttons, these fields here, so, or our code also. So we as a programmer, we have to find a way how to rotate this star or any other character here by code, by blocks, and that's what this new block is doing. That's what we are going to use this turn 15 degrees block, blue one, the one which we have chosen now, and we have it on our code window in it, and he does this block does the same thing as this circle here. So as we were clicking and dragging and rotating the star, this block turned 15 degrees. It does the same thing, but now we have the problem because we have never used it before. We have a problem on where to attach it, to which block. As I said before, events block, as you can see, most of them, not almost all of them, yeah, they don't have this indentation on top of them. They have some bubble on top of them, and you cannot touch anything above them. If I try to touch anything above them, it doesn't snap. It's just stays above, but it doesn't snap. It's not making a bigger block. So you cannot touch anything above event block, which is great too, and easy for you to remember that most of your coding, when you start coding, you will have to start it with some kind of event block. That's the easiest and most stupid and most easiest way to remember it. But if you cannot attach anything above it, then it means it's probably the first one. It's probably my starter block. I cannot attach on top of it, so everything starts with that block. Okay, so but the problem is now, because when I have one green flag clicked, I have one space key pressed, I have one sprite click, and so on. So which one of those I will use? Again, I have explained it before, and I will explain it in the future videos. It all depends on what you want. It all depends on what your game is about, or your animation, your interactive story, and so on. So you can attach, actually, as you can see, this block to any of those or every of those. But before doing that, you have it's much smarter to think about what you need your character to do on the screen, and then start coding. So for example, do I want to click on my star and rotate it? In my particular case, I don't want it. Maybe you want it in your game. I don't want it in my game. So when I click on the star, rotate it, I don't want that, so I can delete this one when this sprite is clicked, because I will not use clicking on the star. So I'm left with the only two now. The first one says when green flag clicked, and the second one says when space key pressed. Okay, I'm not sure which one to use. Let's just simply touch the turn 15 degrees, and as you have seen, I've again accidentally clicked it here and it rotated it, and when you do it, it keeps on rotating your star as much times as you click it. And if you have paid attention to this direction field, it also changed this number, so it's, as I said before, it's doing the same thing. So let's, default was 90, let's just type 90 to make it default, and now instead of clicking here in code window, let's click on the green flag as you're supposed to and see what will happen. Okay, the star is rotating, but as we have seen, the cat is talking also. Why is the cat talking? Let's start it again to see what happens. Yeah, same thing. Cat is talking while the star rotated for 15 degrees. Is that okay with you? Is that some bug? What do you think? Is that something we told Scratch to do? Let's try it again. Yeah, it does it again. It doesn't matter how many times you click. If you click 100 times, it will do the same thing 100 times. And why is that? Well, again, I have explained it before. If you click on the cat, what do we have here? I have something programmed here in my when green flag clicked, and that's why the Scratch is doing it. So I'm telling the Scratch when green flag clicked, let the cat say hello and Scratch cat welcome to programming, and in the same time, this is very important to understand, in the same time Scratch is reading the same command, the same instruction, but this time for star. So in this Scratch is so fast and so smart that he knows. If we told him when I click the green flag, do something for the cat, he reads it, and he's so fast that at the same time he's doing the same thing for the star. He's reading the code for the star and says, okay, I have to do it for the star too. I have to do this command for the star because the programmer told me so. So I will do it in the same time. When the green flag is clicked, I will turn the star 15 degrees and I will command the cat to say something. So for example, if you had 50 different objects and characters on the screen, 50 different cats, dogs, whatever, birds, animals, people dancing and so on, and if you coded every one of them to do something when green flag is clicked, Scratch will do it. It's also great and dangerous at the same time. It's great because you can make very complex games and very complex animations and situations in Scratch, but it is also sometimes it is dangerous because you will make some kind of mistakes and you will not be sure why Scratch is behaving like that, but it's probably because you told him to do something for you and you forgot that he is doing it in the same time. Scratch is just a programming language, computer machine, and he doesn't care or know what is logic from your human perspective. I know I have repeated it as too many times, but I will have to repeat it a lot of times probably in lots of next videos too, because that's how you you have to train yourself to be a better programmer. The Scratch will do only what you tell him to do. Okay, that was enough digression from the block which we were explaining here. So for now I'm just thinking of maybe it's just better to detach this turn 15 degrees from green flag, not only because it will confuse some of you, but also because it will, as you have seen, I will attach it again just to show once more. I will have to start my game with the green flag and star will rotate a little bit. That is cool, but what is happening now? Now the game is running and my star is staying like that forever. It only did it once. If I wanted to do it again, I will have to rotate it more. I will have to probably copy this, so on and so on, and it doesn't make sense. It will look ugly, it will look strange and so on, and I don't want to do it that way. That doesn't make sense. Programming is not about that. It's about making some smarter choices. So I will try to do it with the key pressed instead for now, and I will attach this rotation, attach this block to maybe to letter R for rotation. Did we use that letter for the cat? No. For the champ? No. Great. Okay, so now when I press the letter R, star rotates, which looks great. If I hold it, it will looks like it's rotating, like it's animating, which is great. So it looks nice, but again I have to press the key. It's not so hard for now because we have only one star, but if we had 100 stars on our screen, we had to think something better, and we will show it in our next videos how to do it. For now, let's delete this when green flag clicked block, and let's show one more thing, and that's the end. I will copy this star character here, sprite. I will click on it with if you have selected the cat or champ, click on the star, then right click, duplicate. It will make a star 2 with the same code, which is great. We'll change it just a little bit to show some other stuff we need to learn here. And as you have seen here, the name of this star 1 was a star. When we duplicate it, Scratch was smart enough to call the star 2 with the number 2. So let's maybe just rename the star first star to star 1, just add 1, and the star 2 will be star 2 with a number. Great. So what I want to do now, I want to put this character at the middle of the stage, middle of the screen, and those stars around him, I am clicking and dragging them on my stage, and I will put the cat down below. I will select star 1. I want to make it that it looks like he's I don't know, some rapper, some music star, and he's dancing, doing his act on the stage, and those stars will be rotating around him like some special effects, like some kind of animation. How to do it? We have already animated star 1 with pressing the R key, and I want to do it now with the second star. But for the second star, I will detach this one, the motion block, turn 15 degrees to the right, and I will pick the third from above, the third from the top, which looks very similar from the one which we have already used, which says turn 15 degrees. This one also says turn 15 degrees, but if you look a little bit closer, the first arrow showed turn to the right, and the second on the second one, the second arrow, the arrow is drawn like it's turned to the left. So it's like the first one is like the arrows on your timer on your watch clock, and the second one is in a different direction. What does that mean? Well, again, if I click on this direction, and I will type 90 because that was default, and if I click on this arrow now again, how can I move it? I can move it from left to the right, like you're clock is working, or I can move it from the right to the left, like that. So it's up to you which one you will choose, and for some games you will use it left to the right, from the other right to the left, and so on. In my case, I will delete this first block, and I will attach this second block which says turn 15 degrees to the left. So and if you have paid attention, I'm using the same letter R for the star 1, right? And I'm saying when I press the R key, turn the first star 15 degrees to the right, but also when I press the R key, turn second star to the 15 degrees to the left. So let's see if it works. I'm clicking on the stage now and pressing the R key, and it works. It looks great. It looks like some kind of animation. It glitches a little, but it's because of my computer, and I have open literally, I don't know, a million windows in my Firefox, but it does work. It works a little bit glitchy, but it works. And if you're paying attention and watch closely, first star on the left is rotating to the right, and the second star on the right is rotating to the left. That's how I wanted it to be on my in my game. You can choose to do whatever you want to do in your game. Don't be afraid to experiment and change to your needs, to do it whatever you want it to do. For my game, I want it this way. And what we have learned also behind this turn degrees block, we have learned that I can attach same button, same key, and to different characters on screen. It's not very you will not use it very much in your real life programming experience, but I have I showed it here to you just so you can see that it is possible, and not to be afraid to experiment with it. So if you want, you can put 100 stars on your screen and code every one of them to do different, every single star on the screen to do something different when you press the same key, the same R key or whatever key you want. So you just be aware of that. Sometimes it will be fun or a smart thing to do, but sometimes when you have error in your code in your game, don't forget to check out. Maybe you have maybe you have used the same key to program the different characters, different objects. That's it for this lesson. Keep learning, continue learning, and learning the Scratch, learning programming, learning whatever you want, and keep on sharing. And I will see you in next videos, and thanks for your attention.